Hi guys, and welcome my podcast. Today, I have a friend here who is going to tell us about the things like that we see in our daily lives, which are just like terms in psychology. Hi, welcome, Kerim. Welcome to my podcast. I'm super excited since you are here.
Thank you, Eren. It's very nice to see you after a long time. Thank you for inviting me for a podcast.
You're welcome, bro. I'm super happy that you are here. Our first question, that's my first question that I'm super curious about, is limerence. I heard that a lot from some of psychologists. What do you think about that? What is your thoughts on that?
Yeah, limerence is a word. As far as I understand it, it means having constant thoughts about someone in a very romantic, in a very enveloping way. It's passion, but rather than the experience of it, it seems to me from what I read about it, is the idea, the thought, the constant repetitive thinking of this idea of a relationship. And so you asked me what I'm thinking about this, and in my opinion, from my personal experience, it is a very strong emotion. It happens to me constantly when I go to bed, during my day, and when I was a teenager this was particularly strong. But lately, having traveled a lot, having had my plate full, by that I mean being busy, actively working. So I don't know exactly right now what could be your cure for limerence, but I found a cure for limerence is being busy. And by that I don't mean self-prescribed busyness. It's a meaningful busyness that has many purposes. And lately I was in Sweden and I was working in an eco-village. And in this eco-village, my work was to build sustainable buildings. And I had many friends, girl and boy. And this kept me busy. And although I fantasized about being in a relationship, having love, finding the right person, it never overwhelmed me because I felt I had more important things to do than allow myself to fall into these emotions.
That was amazing, and it was so inspiring for me, dude. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Because I think there are gonna be things that makes us excited about the future when we wake up in the morning. Is that right?
Absolutely. To feel a sense of guidance, a sense of purpose in the morning. And I figured out in Sweden, so I'm talking about Sweden because it was an inspirational period of my life.
Exactly, yeah.
Where I was working in an eco-village as a volunteer, and I was getting paid as well. So it wasn't for free, exactly. And even though every morning when I woke up, there wasn't this overwhelming feeling of purpose, I must serve community, this is one thing. I had the responsibility of going out each morning and being present for whatever duty or whatever complex task we're going to achieve for that day. And that alone was enough to get me out of my bed, wash my teeth, wash my face, prepare for the day. And yes, while I'm brushing my teeth, I might let's say I might be limering, but I am not stopping at limering. I am continuing my day, and continuing my day opens up the opportunity for the people who would like to come into my life. And this is how it happened. I met my girlfriend while I was hitchhiking. She picked me up, and then we started seeing each other. And
awesome.
If I didn't have the courage to say, okay, so you need to be independent, consciously independent. And if I didn't have the courage and conscientiousness to say, I will go out hitchhiking no matter what other people thinks about me, because there are a lot of stigma around hitchhiking, and I don't have that. If I didn't do that, I wouldn't have met the girl that I spent time with, that I shared love with. So being in life and taking action and being reckless in this regards is an important aspect of not fighting but being in harmony with limerence, in my opinion.
Okay, it was really, really inspiring. But I always tell you that like I'm so lucky to know you, man. The like other question that I am curious about, what do you think of being like vulnerable? You know, because we are vulnerable. You know,
Yes.
no one is invulnerable. I think. What do you think about that? Is it weakness or what is that?
Vulnerability is not a weakness, but the idea that we should be vulnerable always, all the time, creates severe distress, because there are right places to be vulnerable and there are wrong places to be vulnerable. If you are specifically a closed person, so you don't allow yourself to be vulnerable, you don't cry, you don't express your feelings, this might point out to the fact that, okay, the environment you grew up in was not safe. This opportunity was not given to you. And if you are in a particularly judgmental and unsafe environment, yes, don't be vulnerable, because then you will be attacked and you will get hurt. It's a double-edged sword. The problem is that the more closed of a person you become, the less curious you become. And because you are closed and you are less curious, you stop looking for safe and exciting environments. It's a double-edged sword, because if you don't notice that you are closed, but you're closed because of your environment, not because who you are, then you'll get stuck. But the moment you realize you're closed because of your environment, and it's not a personal problem, that you're not this person, and you go out wandering for a right place, and this is a privilege, not everybody will find this place. But if you can find this place, if you can open up this gate to yourself, then you might embrace vulnerability as a part of self-development.
As I understood, like having a balance in life is one of the like crucial thing to have. And the other thing, I think, like when we have to like be vulnerable, I think we have to like be like boldly, you know, courageously.
Yeah, the vulnerability in my opinion, doesn't have to be a specific way. So it doesn't need to be an extreme vulnerability. It can be a very soft, a very simple vulnerability. That is what's good about vulnerability. It does not come with a preconceived idea of what vulnerability has to be. You can be vulnerable in many ways. Some people have difficulty saying no. But if you start saying no, for example, and this is a new experience for you, this is being vulnerable as well. Some people have problem showing their disappointment and anger. And if you're showing your disappointment and anger, this is being vulnerable as well. So it doesn't matter if you're courageous or bold. As long as you are taking a step towards being vulnerable, it really does not come in a package. I cannot say, oh, this was not a courageous vulnerability, therefore it's not vulnerability. I don't think it should have it should come with a label. Vulnerability is a very free.
Oh, okay. I really love the idea that you told me. It was really inspiring for me. Thank you so much. Yeah. Every moment that we are recording this podcast, I'm learning a lot, and I have a goosebumps, you know, dude. Like, because I really love the things that you tell me, like wisely, you know. Yeah, oh, it feels great. That's why I'm the like other question that I am like really curious about. What people have to do when they have like pain in life. What we can do when we have like pain. So much pain, I mean.
Yeah, I think there's no single prescription for pain. Pain and suffering has been something people think about all the time. We wake up, our body hurts. In the afternoon, we think about our memories which hurt us. In the evening, we think about why our lives are not perfect. And this is pain, this is suffering. And I don't think I can answer what should we do when we are in pain. But I think I can suggest, from what I observed, first, allowing ourselves the feeling of pain and suffering is a crucial part. I see a lot of people and they block the feeling of pain and suffering. And this has become very, very, very popular, that as if pain and suffering are bad, if you feel that you are inferior. And I disagree. I think pain and suffering makes us grow as human beings. It could be anything. It could be a disappointment, loss of a job, being unsuccessful, losing a partner. It could be anything. And in my opinion, yeah, the first part, yes, man, I'm in pain. It sucks, the situation I'm in. It feels terrible, and I wish it was different. I think it should come from a place of complete acceptance of what the hell it is. And then, what can we do with pain? It's a very great question. Okay, I accepted my pain. Then what can I do with it? First is to be with it, and this is the part I know. When I'm with it, new opportunities come. When I can't get accepted to a school, I'm talking about my experiences.
It would be awesome, that's cool.
You might lose your parent and you might feel a terrible, severe pain, and it might not have a parallel to, let's say, not being accepted to, let's say, University of Oxford. Okay, these are different qualities, but it is important to realize that, okay, future is something that is not, we don't have the capacity to predict future. And life has the ultimate authority to conjure up events that are completely unexpected. So not only we don't know future, we also don't know what life can give us. This can be, in our judgment, bad, and in our judgment, good. So by being present with pain and letting the future come to us, and accepting that we lost something which is causing pain, we might open up a space for more things to come. And then we might say, yes, we have love, we have things that we never thought, we never dreamt about. And being present and being open to the future is my prescription to this.
Wow, it was really inspiring for me. I am like experiencing like many things that while I'm listening, you know. Thanks so much for this like experiences that you are telling me, because I think like if you tell your experiences is better for me, and I think for the listeners. The other question that I really wonder is how can we get over the fear of being judged like by others?
Yeah. I don't think we can overcome the fear of being judged. I think judgment is constant, but it is not an important part of our life. So accepting that judgment will exist and it will affect our life, because other people's judgment is basically all our relationships. Our relationships depend on other people's judgments and our judgment. So it's not like we are these beings where we don't judge. No, just like other people judge, we judge as well. But at one point we need to sit down and say, okay, what does their judgment mean? And what does my judgment mean? And we must evaluate. Okay, they might think this way, I think this way. And in this point, it is important to remind yourself of who you are, what you want to do. Without that, other people's judgments will become very strong. Because you don't have a guidance, you don't have an internal sphere of influence. You will be influenced by the outside world. But say you found a community where you trust people, where people's opinions matter to you. You see these people, they're decent people. And then I think it's okay to allow other people's judgments to come inside. Because to fix a misjudgment in you, you need to open up yourself to the people who will heal you. And they will judge you in the right way. Because if you are feeling severely judged and misjudged, in the past, this has happened to you. And you were placed in a terrible spot and you are carrying this judgment. But people who have the capacity to see you as you are, the people who has the capacity to see you as you are and respect you as you are, will see you. And if you open your chest up to them and allow them to judge you, and they will judge you fairly, and they will judge you passionately, and this will be a counter judgment to all these negative judgments you had, and you will have a correct representation of yourself in you.
Okay, that was great. And also, I want to add something else to this because, like, judging is like sometimes can be, I think, like useful if there is someone, I mean, who is like my friends, you know, like who is telling me, like, Eren, it's not like this. I don't judge, but I have a like idea. I have a different idea than you have, and it's not like that. And whenever I hear this, like, so my friend point the thing that I am doing like wrongly to me, I think I learn a lot, right? I can be like, yeah, you are right. And if I'm sure that, like you said, there are like people who are judging me like fairly, you know. I think that's the good thing to like improve my life, improve my like personality. Is that right?
Yeah, it's good to be conscious that when we make mistakes, we should have friends around us to call us out. Yeah, you did this wrong, and it's fine. Sometimes it's too much, because even though we make mistakes, we just want to make mistakes, and sometimes it's okay to say, all right, man, I'm doing what I'm doing, you don't need to tell me what to do. Sometimes we want to make mistakes. It's something that comes out of us. It's a defiance. It's a defiant move we make, but totally being open to people who will correct us, not to make us feel bad, but to help us improve. I think it's a possible way of improvement, self-improvement.
All right, that's great. The other thing that I really wonder, like, about you, because I really love your confidence, man. And so, what makes you confident? Tell me, because I'm really curious about that. And what is your experiences about that? To like tell people how we can be like more confidently, what will like make us more confident?
That's a very tough question. Confident, because it's also a very relative term, because there are ways I find myself very inconfident, and I question myself a lot. I have tremendous stress on me to perform, to be successful, to have a good life. And thank you for finding me confident. I mean, it is not a feeling that I often feel, but I guess looking at my life history, I've always been outgoing. I always tried to understand other people. Being on stage a lot helped me from a very early age. I was doing theater, and this helped me have confidence in front of people.
Hey y'all, and welcome to part 2. There are like some of the things which is gonna be hard for us to do, and there might be like some of small habits that we may have to like boost our confidence, such as like maybe skincare, or I don't know, something else, that learning something new. I don't know, like maybe like your standing up.
Helps me.
Exactly.
Languages half the time, and it helps me a lot because learning things opens up the mind. And this allows new information to come, and it's the same thing with limerence. Limerence is being obsessed and being in the same loop. If you change the loop, if you open up the system to new information, then there's a better chance for a new thing to come out of the system.
Exactly, yeah. I think it was a very good explanation for confidence. It was enough for me to like hear this kind of like things, and I think like there are really like small things that we can implement to make our life what it needs to be, because small things are big, you know. That's my opinion. And the other question that I want to ask, how should we react like our thoughts which are like negative, you know? Should we react them?
What do you mean by react?
I mean, like, because there are like some thoughts that that feels us stuck, you know, like sometimes maybe there are like some like thoughts that we have which makes us like so like angry, you know, to someone. What do you like recommend like at that time that I have that thought?
Yeah, anger is a common problem. But by problem I mean, so we experience anger, then we identify it as a problem. And many people say that, oh, my anger is the problem. And it's a very curious thing. I wonder how can common emotions like this can be perceived as a problem. And this makes me think that we really lack the ways of expressing anger, because there are many ways in psychology. Okay, calm down, take a breath, and explain your anger wisely. But if you did that, you will feel that, oh dude, explaining my anger calmly does not make me feel good. It's not a good feeling. We want to feel, in a way, primal with our anger. And I believe anger isn't necessarily a negative thought, because it can be a motivating emotion to curiosity, to self-improvement, to relationships. Anger is a very strong emotion that gets us out of our mind, and so in a way that I don't frame it as a negative emotion. But if negative emotion is I can't succeed, I'm a bad person, I'll be unsuccessful always, I won't find happiness, no one will love me, well, I would say let life surprise you, because life has the ultimate decision. Life has the ultimate say in your life. And just because you thought, oh, I'm bad, does not make in a bigger picture, it doesn't make you bad. And no matter what labels you use for yourself, there is always a larger stream of consciousness happening in you and around you. When I recognize I'm thinking badly and I feel uncomfortable with the thoughts and emotions I'm experiencing, I meditate. And then I take notes. Wow. And I take notes, what I saw and what I heard while I was meditating. And this allows me to see the emotions and thoughts as frames rather than the whole picture. Because if I don't sit, then they become my emotions that define me. But when I sit down, meditate, and then take notes of the images and sounds that came up to my mind, then they're not my thoughts, but they were thoughts and feelings inside me. So they were passing.
And also, there's something that I want to emphasize is that I think we learn about ourselves a lot once we do the things that you tell us, right?
Absolutely. Meditation is an incredible tool. And it isn't a tool like studying a language or learning mathematics. Meditation helps life in invisible ways. It helps you avoid confusion and conflict. So when you meditate, the things you earn are invisible. They're not monetary, or they're not things like, oh, you have a new car, a bigger house. These might happen. But what you get with constant and habitual meditation is, in fact, a more free and a less problemed life. And if you meditate for a long time and then you quit, you witnessed that. I witnessed that. I've been meditating for the last 5 years, and I haven't meditated in the last 4 months since I've been to Sweden. And I've seen that when I don't meditate, problems come up. Problems come up constantly. But when I meditate, it's very easy to take it for granted, because when you don't see the problems, you don't attribute them to meditation. But I saw it firsthand that when I don't meditate, problems come up. Mm-hmm. And when I meditate, problems go back. And it's an incredible tool.
Awesome. The things that you told me were super, impressively, since this kind of things, when we implement this kind of things, I think our lives will get better, and most of the things that we think which are just negative become become more positively, and makes us who we could be, I think. And the other thing that I want to ask is that why we are obsessive about some people. Is that about us? What is that? What do you think about that? What is your experiences?
It's a very good question. The way I see it is that the person we get obsessed with, we imagine them as having something we desire. But it can be an illusion. The girl I'm obsessed about, I think I'll be fantastically happy with her. But in fact, spending time with her might be the most boring thing that I'll ever do. And this is very natural, but maturity comes from realizing this. Your obsession does not mean reality. And reality not necessarily satisfies your desires and imagination. And I always put brakes on and I say, okay, dude, you didn't spend time with this person. You don't know how it would be if you spent time, if you would find him, her interesting, smart, intelligent, sexy, attractive, or if you're spending time with them and you want something from them, it might be simply something that will never happen. And it is very easy to accept, in my opinion. Okay, I desire this girl, but there is something missing, and that gap might not close. I don't think I will close. It's not closing right now. In the future, it might close. But as long as I'm comfortable in my own space, in my own actions, in my own activities, do I really need another person in my life? In this scenario, the people who are already in my life are enough, and I'm confident in my ability to attract and add more people to my life. So I don't need this person. I don't need to be obsessed with anyone, because I'm in the flow of life is giving me what I need. This is how I'm dealing with this, and it isn't always possible. Sometimes circumstances make you obsessive. Sometimes our circumstances suck. We're not all powerful. We have fallibilities. We have vulnerabilities, and sometimes this will happen, like I expressed just now, that yes, I don't need anyone. Life gives me people, life gives me activities, and I feel satisfied. And sometimes we'll feel empty, sometimes we'll feel I need someone particular in my life. But this does not necessarily mean that we should have that specific person, or that specific person has what we need.
Oh my god, thank you so much. It was so motivating for me. Let's move on the other question, which is what is your advice for overthinkers?
Get out. Overthinkers has to get out. Unfortunately, thinking has no bottom, and thinking likes to replace itself. It replicates itself. So the more you think, the more you can think, and the more you think, the less reliable the thought becomes. But physical activity, being outside, being around people, doing things, refreshes your mind. It's as if cutting everything that had come before and starting again. The thoughts are new, the water is clear, and you're thinking clearly. If you're overthinking it, it's not helping you. First of all, there is no reward for an overthinker. If you are not doing anything, overthinking has no reward. Life gives you things when you do something. Thinking gives nothing in return. It does not thank you. Thinking does not thank you. No one has ever found anything. No one has invented anything by thinking. But by doing, by inventing, by trying, by practicing, can we only find something new. And this is true for academic ideas as well. A philosopher thinks and talks and communicates, spends time with other people. In your free time, so scholastic, scholar means in Greek, a person who has free time. Mm-hmm. Now in academia, people don't have time because they need to fill up papers. There's a lot of paperwork for professors. But in Greece, the philosophers would have many free times to think up ideas. But it would eventually turn into conversation. And without conversation, there is no invention. And for invention to be, you must talk to people and this requires you to get out of your mind. And I'm not saying this to make people who think a lot feel bad. No. We all think too much from time to time. And some of us think too much all the time. It is just to say, in action, in changing places, in changing circumstances, in being in a different place, in a different country, in a different community, there is immense power to learn.
I want to add something like about this. If there are people out there who are overthinkers, I just want to remind them like this quote, which is, be thankful what you have today and fight for future. I think this is written by like Shakespeare. I'm not sure. I don't know like if I'm wrong or not, but I think it is super inspiring. We can move on to the other questions, and it is going really good and so inspiring, so motivating. And the other question is on do we feel numbness sometimes, you know?
Oh yeah, we feel numbness. It happens to all of us. We have to. We don't have an infinite capacity to consciously process pain but what kind of a numbness you are asking here? Because there are two ways to feel numb. One numbness is to look at Instagram all day. That is a numbness. And another numbness is absence of thought over a particular event. For example, you might avoid thinking about your divorce, and this might cause a numbness in that area. But yeah, numbness is totally normal, and anyone who feels numb, it's totally fine to feel numb. It's okay to feel numb, definitely.
And I think like as a human being, like we have to feel all of the emotions. We have to accept all of the emotions that we have, because this is not for just one person. This is for like human being, right?
Yeah, numbness. Well, it's a problem if you are constantly feeling numb. We all feel numbness, of course, but if you've been feeling numb for a year, if you've been feeling numb for a month, or if you've been feeling numb for a week, all right, man, that's a lot. But if you're from time to time feeling numb, you might ask yourself, what happened before I felt numb? What was I thinking? What was I seeing? What was I hearing before I felt numb? I asked this, but of course, it's not okay to feel numb for a year. I wouldn't support that idea, no.
Do you think like writing helps for that?
Yeah, writing can help. Writing can help to get things started. It helps you to notice emotions. If you're taking notes of the things you're hearing, things you are seeing, then it also helps. And yeah, writing is a great tool. It's not good to get obsessed with writing. Some people are writing all the time, and I did that myself, but now I'm not doing that, because writing is a very unsynchronized, a very lonely process, and I'd rather be with other people than be writing all day alone in my room. I'd rather be in synchronicity with other people together, living parallel and connected experiences rather than a single and disconnected experience.
Okay, awesome, that's good. And we can move on to the other questions, because we have like many questions today for Kerim. What can we do after being hurt by people? Is it up to us also or not? What do you think?
To some extent, yes, but we cannot always. So, all right. If you are getting hurt all the time, constantly, you need to look into yourself and say, wow, wait a second, I'm getting hurt constantly. Maybe it is about something I do. Maybe it's about my choice. But we don't have complete control over the way other people act. And people can act in hurtful ways. And that's okay. We cannot take the whole world's responsibility on us. People will act in a hurtful manner, and sometimes we will feel hurtful. But then with this feeling, whether we take it personal or to what extent we take it personal is relative. And I've met people who it is impossible to talk freely next to them. You need to censor yourself because they get offended very easily. In my opinion, that's unhealthy. I think you need to be able to freely express yourself. So that's very radical. I'd rather not censor myself. But if you're never feeling hurt, then my God, it is not good as well, because hurt is a place to look into to heal. But yes, being hurt is totally fine, and it's not always our responsibility. Sometimes that is, if we think there's a pattern in the way we get hurt, it is important to look at it and to see, okay, there is a connection here. This is constantly happening to me. What might be the source of this?
Wow, that was amazing. Thank you so much, guys, for listening to this episode. I hope you are all well and safe. I wish you have a wonderful day. Take care.